mi hermosa gente. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today we will be talking about how to prepare for your TFA interview or how to plan for it. I actually created a video about this, about my interview experience, so you should watch that before watching this video. If you are new here, I was in Teach for America. In 2017, I taught high school Spanish in Los Angeles. And if you've been here before, if you're back on my channel and you've watched my videos, you've liked them or commented on them before, I would suggest that you subscribe in order for me to expand my ability to help you and also others in their teaching journey. But if you're new, go ahead and, snoop around before you subscribe. So the first thing you want to do is open up a Google Doc, sit down and dedicate an hour just to plan the lesson. In terms of what subject you want to plan, that you want to facilitate, I'm going to help you in that process. So some examples could look like system of equations for math, the digestive system for science, Spanish or foreign language, where you go over the greetings, the vowels, history, the reason for World War II, the Louisiana Purchase, etc. Just remember that what you're teaching is something that you've taught before or something that you're super passionate about something that you're excited or just something that you know a lot about. And after you decide what you want to teach, now is the time to write down the objective. So the objective could look like students will be able to learn about or identify the different parts of the digestive system, or students will be able to solve system of equations. So always starting with students will be able to. Lastly, create a handout that supplements your lesson. So this isn't an activity sheet, it's more like it's something that you use so that your students are able to follow along easily. So this could look like a list of vocabulary words, it could be the different parts of the digestive system, it could be the different vowels, the conjugation rules, etc. It's just a supplement handout. Also, TFA does not have a specific criteria, but I'm going to create one so that you know what to include or how to have in order for you to have a guideline of what a successful lesson plan would look like. There's just 5 elements of this criteria. The first one is easy to learn in 5 minutes, so it has to be very simple. The second is the applicant is excited to teach, that they're passionate to teach. Third is that this lesson plan has to be engaging. The students cannot be bored. Students like fake, because the applicants are your students. Fourth is have a prop, and I'm going to talk about what props I use for my lesson plan in a little bit. And last but not least, a handout. You have to have a handout. The person that I knew that was in the same interview group as me, we worked together, and I got in and she didn't, and she did not have a handout. Apart from that, she wasn't really prepared. So have that handout ready, and it's optional, but just create one and make a copy for every single person in the group. Make like 10 copies. And don't forget, if you're finding this video valuable in any way, go ahead and put a thumbs like on the video. Now I'm going to show you how I facilitated my 5-minute lesson. So first of all, TFA does require for you to write the objective, the subject, and the grade level of what you will be teaching, and then your name. So they ask you to write all those down on the whiteboard that they're going to provide. But some people use this, and I used it for my interview, is just have a poster board with all those 3 requirements. And it saves you time, and I mean, you take like 30 seconds writing it on the board, and then you have 4 minutes and 30 seconds for your lesson plan. But if you just have it, write it down, tape it down on the board, and then you have your full 5-minute lesson plan. So the way I started this, I basically said, and I just acted as if everyone was a student, and they all have name tags, so you can totally cold call them if you need to. But I started off with, "Hi class, welcome back. As you all remember, yesterday we learned about the body parts in Spanish, and today we are going to talk about the facial features in Spanish." So it's going to be a good day, okay? In front of you, you have an outline so that it's easy for you to follow along the lesson. So let's get started. So the first thing, what we're going to do is I'm going to point to a specific feature on my face. I'm going to say it in Spanish, and then I'm going to have everyone repeat the pronunciation of that word at the same time. So let's practice. So right here, I'm going to say nariz, nariz. So every one of you is going to repeat it. Nariz. And then the audience would say nariz. And then I would go to mi oreja, oreja. Then they would say oreja, oreja. So I did this for 4 features. So I dedicated maybe like 1.5 minutes going over together. And then the second part of the lesson, I had students, I used a prop, which is one of the elements of the criteria that I mentioned, and I used chocolate kisses. And so the next instruction that I gave is, now I'm going to give a kiss to somebody one by one, and if you get a kiss, that means I'm going to show a specific part of my face, and you're going to say it in Spanish by yourself in front of everybody. And so then I would practice. So I gave a kiss to somebody, and that somebody would look at my face, and I would point to a specific part, and then they would say ojo, and if they forgot the name of that facial part, they could always look at their handout. Ojo. Okay, and if they struggled a bit, I would ask everybody to repeat it as a class. And that was the second part. The third part, I had everybody, once I called on like 3 or 4 people, and so that lasted like maybe 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, I don't remember. But the last part, I had everybody I had everybody identify the specific parts without me saying anything. So I said, okay, the last part of the lesson is I'm going to point to a specific feature on my face. I'm not going to say a single word, and everybody is going to say what that part represents. So if I point to this here, you're going to say boca, but I'm not going to say anything, okay? And so then I would continue with, and then everybody would say nariz. And that was basically all of it. I don't remember how I closed the lesson. I think the opening and the actual lesson is the most important. Don't worry about the closing so much, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a couple reminders for this, for the lesson plan, is that just remember to smile and be positive and show positive affirmation. So this could look like, oh, muy bien, or very good, perfect, y'all are doing a great job. And the second reminder is just use the I do, we do, you do. That's like the basic guidelines for teaching, is that I do it first, and then we do it together, and then you do it independently. I did it kind of different, but it'll still work. But if you want to do the I do, we do, you do, feel free to do that. Alright, so if you have made it to the entirety of this video, I just want to say thank you so much. It means a lot when you all watch the entire video, or even the majority of the video, because it shows that the insight I have is something that you all needed. And that's the purpose of these videos, is to give you value that you actually need. And I know Teach for America is one of the most competitive programs, and I have my own opinions about it, but I do want to make the process of applying a little bit easier, and I know there's not a lot of resources for applicants, and that's why I'm here. And but yeah, if you found this very helpful in any way, please subscribe, like this video, and because it helps me expand my capacity to help you and others as well. And but again, if you watched into the entirety, comment below teach, because I do want to give out some shout outs. I just feel so very grateful that a lot of people are watching, but I don't have a lot of subscribers, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's okay. As long as I'm reaching at least one person, that is all that matters for me. Hasta luego, chicos. Ciao.